I'm 100% scratching my head on this one. So hopefully I'm getting ready to show you some real obvious problem, but pay attention because I may be still at the end of this video asking you to find the problem. So doing one of my final tests of some reflow we're doing for our SCADA training coming up in January. Actually, it's supposed to be an anodizing system, but just to show that you could use your imagination and turn anything, I made mine a t-shirt factory. And here's my robot. It's going to be kind of coming up and down and dipping them in the tanks and end up making a t-shirt. My last one was a magenta one. It looks like, actually, according to my orders, I'm going to make another magenta one. And pay attention to the t-shirt dropping up and down while I run this part. So it's going to come in, grabs a t-shirt, and okay, it looks semi-smooth. But occasionally, see if it does it on this one. Oh, see that jump? There went another jump. There's some funky jump happening in the robot's A3 axis. Now, I say there's some funky jump happening. That is not happening over on the robot. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Here's a code that is doing the positioning. And for the most part, and we've done this many times in videos, we're going to combine two ints into a dent, and then we're going to take that number, we're going to divide it by 1,000, and that gives us our position. And so my first thought was, okay, is it really happening or is it an ignition? So I'm going to right-click that, and we're going to go up here, and we are going to trend it. And the default is like way the frick too fast for me and my brain. So I'm going to slow it down a little bit with the x-axis, and I'm going to make that a 30-second time span. And we'll click OK. And I probably should have put some min and max on it so it wouldn't be bouncing all over, but this will be okay. Even though it looks crazy right now, it's bouncing between a minute amount. But now let's go run the robot again. And we come back over here, and there's no doubt that whole t-shirt spike thing, it's jumping quite a bit. So my next thought was, okay, well, are they all jumping quite a bit? So I'm going to right-click the black area, and we're going to go to Chart Properties. I'm going to go to my Pins tab, and I'm going to add a tab, or add a pin, and I'm going to add Smart Robot, and then we're going to go down and we're going to grab the A2 position. That is the other position of this. Oh, I do that every time. You have to hit the add button on the side, so we'll go back and we'll do it again, just like I do almost in every video. So Smart Robot A2 position, and then we hit the add button and we click OK. OK. Then we hit the gray on gray run button to get it running again. And we go over here. We'll start it again. Looks like we're running a white shirt this time. And that green line is just as smooth as can be. Just like in every troubleshooting, we want to find, where is it good, where is it bad? Because I already can tell some of you are probably like, well, just do some filtering on it. Or in a second, some of you are going to be like, well, just do the MAF and ignition. But no, I'm really baffled by this one. I really want to understand what the world is going on. So over here on Studio, if we look, the next thing up is this int to dent right here. Now, I'm reusing this a bunch of times just as a kind of temporary thing in the middle of this. And that can cause some people to think that that's going to be the issue, and it also is going to make it impossible to trend. So I'm actually going to bring a new rung down. And I'm mainly going to drag these few out that matter for what the world we're trying to figure out. So that would be that one and that one. So with these two now, what I want to do is I want to actually get this into something that just a different one. So I'm just going to make this my temp. DINT, let's stick a 2 on it, and then we'll create that, and I will make this one a double integer, create, Drag that over to here. And then we'll start a rung edit on this one as well, because I need to take that one out. So we're going to delete and make sure it's the right one. Delete. So now, if we cross-reference A3 position, actually, let me finalize this first, because otherwise you will see extra instances of it. Now, if we cross-reference our A3 position, we only have one thing writing to it. And so, now what I want to do is I want to add temp DINT2 also to my trend. So we'll go back to our trend tab and we'll right click, chart properties, pins tab, add configure, and we'll get the temp DINT. Oop, I made that a program tag, I'm guessing. Now let's try it. Temp DINT2. There it goes. We'll add it. Okay. Okay. Hit that nice obscure gray on gray run again. That way we get it running. Alright, we got a bunch of things bouncing, but mainly when we try to run this now, you would think that this red, which is our raw data, would match our A3 position data. So we'll go over here, we'll hit my start button, and there's our red, and it's as smooth as can be. And our blue, which is our original A3, is what is now funky. Now this really has me baffled now. So what I'm going to do now, actually I'm going to stop this trend. We're going to start it again. Actually, no, we shouldn't even do that. We're going to stop the trend. I'll go here and start it. And then we'll go over here and run our trend. That way we just pick this up. We see we're getting all that funkiness right in there. And that's enough. Now we're going to hit the stop button on that. I'm going to save that trend. And I'm going to make it actually a CSV. That way we can open it up really easy. And we're going to stick it over here on, where are we going to stick it? We'll stick it over here in our downloads just temporarily. And there we go. And now we'll go over to File Explorer. And we're going to try to remember where I just put that. I said downloads, I think. We're going to open that up. We're just going to do that'll be great. Let's see. We'll grab all this. We're going to actually, we don't even need any of that top stuff, so we're going to delete all that top stuff out. Delete those rows. And mainly, the first thing we're going to look for is where's this A3 or A2, sorry, A2 position looking insane? That's our question. So we see it's at a nice 2, had a nice 3, a nice 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, it looks beautiful. But there goes one. We went from 30 to 15 back to 31. No doubt there's something funky going on there. Now, our raw data did not. So according to that, we actually had 3,000 or 30,052, and that divided by 1,000 turned into 15. And yeah, I spent like 2 hours yesterday trying to figure out how that was happening. So I've got a couple of crazy theories. But first of all, the question is, does 3,952 divided by 1,000 equal 15? So I'm going to go back over to Studio. I'm going to go to my robot program. And we're going to make a rung edit on this one. And we're just going to copy this div instruction. I'm going to take temp dent 3. And I'm going to just put this as div 1000. And we'll create temp dent 3. And I will make this one a double integer. And then we'll take our dive 1000, create it. This one I will make a real. And then that number was 30,952. I'm going to copy that. We're going to paste that into temp dent 3. And we'll hit the finalize button on that. And there's no doubt 30,952 divided by 1,000 equals 30.952. So my next thing is, okay, maybe there is some insanity going on with this tag. Maybe. Don't think so, but you know, at this point, anything's possible. So I'm going to change this to temp real 2. And we'll can create it, and I will create it as a REAL. And we'll finalize that. And then we'll go over here, right click, chart properties, pins tab, and one we've definitely proven out that there's nothing wrong with the A2 axis. The A2 axis. I'm gonna delete that one out. We're gonna add configure tags, and we're gonna go grab, oops, we gotta change our scope probably, because I probably created all these at the program scope. And then we'll go for temp real 2. We'll try to remember to hit that add button, and we'll run that. And so no doubt, I would agree, 2,000. Oh, I don't know why I made them red. Well, we definitely got to change that. Any old color. Yeah, somebody on LinkedIn complained about the color of a trend I posted. I'm like, who cares about the color of the trend? Just help me figure this out. All right, so now we would expect all these. Well, no, the A3 is no longer going to do anything because there's nothing writing to it, we hope. So we would expect these two to follow each other exactly. So we'll go over here to our robot. We'll hit our start button. Ooh, I was not expecting that. So, well, here you go, folks. I mean, this real world, there is something writing to that A3. And here's where, you know, and here's, we kind of got to work this back to figure it out. Oops. There's something writing to this smart robot A3 position, whether I believe it or not. And so my next wild guess is that I have copied and pasted or done something in ignition, and I've accidentally used this A3 tag. So if that was so, wow, I was not expecting that. So now what we need to do, I don't even know how that could be. Let's go over to ignition. We know it's A3, so I'm just going to go to the edit. Oops. And we're going to find, and yeah, I'm just going to search for A3 because I believe all the instances of that would have it. Okay. So now I'd never seen a need to do this, but now would be a good time for, you know, instead of wandering through this, I should turn off the COM read write and just take it to COM read, because that'll take ignition out of the equation. Of course, I don't have a start button now, but I can do that over in Studio. And now let's go ahead and put the A3 position back in just like it was. And so that is, let's see, that was after this one. So we'll go ahead and grab it and put it just like it was. I bet you I've been scratching my head thinking this was some crazy thing in Studio, and there's nothing wrong in Studio. This is probably, gosh, and I'm just realizing how much I have grasped at straws at this. So let's hope this is this simple. So yeah, we're really grabbing that, and then I'm just gonna grab A1's position and we'll change that to A3. And that should get us back the way we were. And so now the question is, really, actually, I'm going to right click chart properties just to get the confusion out of this. I'm going to turn the visibility off on these two for now. Now we're only looking at the one axis. Then, and in this case, I'll have to go over here to the anodizing. I can start the cycle right there. And then we can go over to our trend. Wow. That thing's just as smooth as can be. So now if I can quickly go back over to ignition, but I can't because I clicked on the wrong thing. Up. Oh, now that is interesting. Designer's not in read-write mode. I wonder what it's even trying to write. Oh, well, here you go. Now, I never would have thought of using this for a way of diagnosing it, but here it is. Error writing to tag cable A3. I've somehow looped this back to it. Now, the cable should just be a derived tag doing the math. Oh, now I'm really doing it. There we go. Got one more, it looks like. Well, sure enough, I found a place I fat-fingered this. But now, okay, let's stretch it a little bit. Which ways could we have fixed this? Because, yeah, a lot of you probably were like, well, you just add some filtering to it. Because really, I posted it yesterday because it was just a neat-looking trend, really. And a lot of you are like, yeah, that looks like noise on a servo. And, yeah, to me, I was like, whoa, you're right. It does look like noise on a servo. But so we could have filtered it. We could fix it right in ignition, and that's 100% what I should do. But, you know, there is a read-write on every tag, and I'm just curious enough that I've never actually done it. So I'm going to switch ignition back to read-write. I've not fixed the problem yet because I just got curious. And then I'm going to go over here, and we're going to grab the robot A3 position, and we're going to go to its properties. And yeah, well, we need to do some videos talking about, yeah, a lot of them now. And with Rockwell, you have the OPC UA access, but we have external access. I'm going to switch it to read only. I'm just curious if that would have fixed it. So, which trend do we even have going? Yeah, we have just this going now. And yeah, my start button should work again. So I'll hit the start button. Oops, I'm out of orders. So we'll load the default order. Oops, got to hit the play button. We'll load the default orders. Hit the start button. Well, okay, where I'm definitely writing to that. Now we're getting air and ignition, but look, we have smoothness over here. So then we can switch it over back to read-write. Because, yeah, this is something a lot of you ask about. And, you know, as of now, it defaults to read-write. I think there's a lot of people question whether it should. But now we go over here and we hit the start button again. And we go over here and look at our trend. And there is our noise back. So, interesting exercise. You know, I think that's probably one that we need to probably do some more lessons on, exercises on, is how do you figure out what is writing to something external of? Because, you know, even there at the beginning of it, I cross-referenced it because that would be the first thing I'd ask you, something else that's got to be writing to it. And then I even kind of, you know, I was like, oh, have I discovered some flaw in floating point math? No, there was something else writing to it. Now, ultimately, I think I accidentally fat-fingered and hit that bidirectional button on this one instance right here. In fact, let's go up and, well, here, let me just grab this cable. I grab my little piece of cable. Come on. Oh, sometimes it's difficult. There we go. And then we come down over here and we have a look at this. That one's fine. I get a feeling that was it. So now we hit our play button, hit our start. We'll come over here and look at those smooth lines. Now if we go ahead and try to make a shirt, looks like we're making a magenta shirt. Look how smooth that is now. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, well, now I got to figure out what's going on there. I think I was playing with the camera. I probably left it offline is all this is, but yeah. Now I got to figure out why I have a fail on my camera score. Well, I guess saying it never gets old. You know, if something on your machine is not doing what you expect it to do, maybe something else is writing to it. So check out down in the description. You'll see a link to the class coming up in January. See you there.